I grow 19 fruit trees in my 1/4 acre backyard garden, and some of them do better than others. So today, let me rate with you the fruit trees from worst to best. So we're going to start out with this guy right here that you can see. This is a pomegranate bush. This is not a recommended one that I would ever grow again. And in fact, I'm probably going to pull it out of my garden. The main reason, well, there's two reasons. One, it's partially my fault, right? I planted this in kind of a shady spot. And so it has grown, it has survived. It put on one fruit, and that one fruit split open, which I knew was a possibility here in Florida with all of our rain and humidity. These guys like dry climates. They don't necessarily love wet climates. And when they get too wet, the fruit splits. And when it splits, it rots. So wouldn't recommend that one. The next one on our list is going to be this little guy right here. You might remember if you've watched this channel for any length of time, this used to be a gigantic avocado tree. Yes, we replaced Cado the avocado with Cado 2.0. Cado was a day avocado. This one is a fantastic. It is more cold hardy. Now the reason this one comes in at my number 9 would not recommend is mainly having to do where I'm at. I'm in Central Florida. If you're in North or Central Florida, you really got to grow some very, very cold hardy. Now we had a very cold winter, historic, like 50-year historic. So I can't really blame them for that. But Cado, who was here before, also had a tough year the year before that. And the year before that, we had one of the warmest winters we had, and that was the only time he ever fruited. So I think for Central and North Florida, this one is kind of temperamental. They really only fruit every other year, unless you get certain varieties and it just hits like the perfect spot. Now, if you're in South Florida, this is probably one of your number ones. It's going to produce like crazy. But for Central and North Florida, not so much. I think this next one's going to shock a lot of people as to why it's so low on my list, because it is basically what we're known for here in Florida. Number 8 on my list of fruit trees is citrus. I wish it was higher, but there's a number of reasons why it is where it's at, and it mainly has to do with citrus greening disease. Now this guy right here is a mandarin. I've had him in a pot inside my pool cage to keep him separated from the Asian psyllid that comes in from outside and contracts its disease. Now it is a resistant variety. This was developed by the University of Florida. It is the Sugar Bell Mandarin. I also have a Myers lemon that has had the disease for some time now, although it still puts out somewhat decent lemons. This guy is the first year that it is fruiting. It's been in this pot for I think 2 to 3 years now, and I have a ton of fruit. I was so excited. I was a little worried about it this winter. Maybe my opinion of it will change, but so far at 3 years, it does have the disease, I can see, but it doesn't look like it's impacting it like it is the Myers lemon, which has no resistant capabilities. I keep them inside of this cage to keep that bug away from causing it to be diseased more. And I also keep it in containers so I can really monitor the soil, the moisture, and the nutrients. I have to heavy feed these guys and everything because we've got to try to keep them healthy for as long as possible. And that's rather difficult. Hence why they are so low on my list, because they just require kind of a experienced hand to keep them for longer than just a handful of years. This one behind me right here is going to come in at number 7, and that is a plum tree. I have this one, and then if you follow me over here, I also have this guy in a pot. Now the reason why this one is not like top of my list, it would have been because plums are absolutely amazing. They taste incredible to grow in your garden, but they do require 2 trees. Not all, but some require 2 trees. I grow the Gulf series. This is a Gulf Beauty. That's a Gulf Rose, but there's like, I think 6 total varieties in the Gulf series. They were created by the University of Florida to be able to handle our weather here. I think the Gulf Rose does better. I think the Gulf Beauty tastes better. So that's been my challenge. I didn't mean to keep that Gulf Rose in a pot for very long. I grafted it to this tree. And, you know, I just find that this one isn't as productive as that one. So I'm kind of in this waiting pattern to figure out what I'm going to do with these 2 trees. If I'm just going to go down to one, or if I'm forever going to grow another one in a pot. I don't know. But that's one of the struggles I have with them, is in a small space, having 2 of the same tree or same type of tree so that you can get pollination is kind of a pain in the butt. Now this really adorable guy right here is my fig tree. I actually got this from a cutting from a viewer who wanted to trade off some moringa, and I had traded a moringa for this one, and it has done so well. The cool thing about these guys is they do grow in pots. You could grow this in a pot, but you do have to prune it aggressively every year. I am letting it grow out a little bit more this year than I did last year because I wanted to kind of fill in this whole space here. The figs are delicious. You can dry them, you can eat them fresh. I don't think they're as versatile as a fruit. I might get some slack for that, but I don't think they're as versatile as a fruit as like strawberries or peaches or mulberries or something like that. But they are very, very good, and there's some fun things that you can do with them. And it's just a really lovely plant. It seems to be pretty easy for me. Some people have said it's been, difficult for them, but it hasn't really been a challenge for me. It does lose its leaves in winter, and then it just kind of bounces back and pushes off new growth. I think I haven't done much for it other than fertilize it twice a year. Before we head into number 5, which is the Loquat, make sure to pick up my book, The Florida Fruit Garden. I just wrote this book this year. It's all about growing fruit trees here in Florida, North, Central, and South Florida. And it goes into multiple phases from like prepping your soil and how to feed them, how to water them, all the way to like different kinds of fruit tree orchards you want. Like if you want a kid's garden, if you want fast producers, if you want high yielding producers, and then it goes all into the end, which is scheduling, like how to maintain these trees once they're in. So definitely check this out. It's on my website, homegrownfloridagarden.com. Number 5 on the list is going to be a Loquat. It is my favorite. I'm obsessed with them. Since citrus is such a problem down here in Florida because of the Asian citrus disease, citrus greening, I feel like these are a good substitute for citrus. They remind me of an orange or a mandarin. They have that citrusy flavor, but they're not part of the family. Wow, those are so good. This is a Yehuda, Hyehuda. They grow very, very easily. They can handle cold temperatures. They can handle hot temperatures. They get some pests and disease, but it doesn't really slow them down. They are just like made for this particular climate. I had to take a little break and eat some. I love them so much. Now, my tree is about 4 years old. It was going to produce a lot of fruit this year, but some of it was killed off by that epic cold spout that we had. They do fruit during winter, which is kind of cool. They will be the first one in the garden to produce fruit for you for the beginning of the year. They're going to be showing up like in flowering in like October, November, December, and then you start harvesting fruit right in January. So it's usually one of the first ones in the garden, which is absolutely amazing. But the downside is if we have a cold winter like we just did, some of the fruit can be damaged by super cold temperatures. And by super cold, I mean it got like 17 degrees here, and that damaged some of them, but not all of them. But that's what makes it higher on my list than some of the other ones. If you haven't met Peachy, the peach tree here, she has been with me for like 7 years. She came from my old property and onto this property. She was in a pot at that time. I put her in the ground here, and she has produced amazingly for me. That's why she makes number 4 on the list. She's a tropic beauty peach tree, and that means she makes kind of medium to small size peaches, but they are outstanding flavor wise. She is a little bit more high maintenance. You do have to prune her. She does need feeding every twice a year basically, and I do prune her in winter, and then I prune her for height in summer. You don't necessarily have to prune her twice like I do. You could just prune her once, which takes it down a notch. And there are some things that happen with peach trees that happen here in Florida with disease and certain kinds of pests. I think if you get one of the ones recommended or developed by the University of Florida, you can bypass some of those issues, and a lot of the time they grow out of these issues. But she is a little high maintenance, but she's well worth it because her peaches are amazing. Now this tree right here, it looks small right now, but this is going to take number 3 on the list, and this is going to be an elderberry. And it might shock you why I picked an elderberry as number 3, and it's mainly because of how easy they are to grow. This guy is a native variety, which is another reason why it does so well here. It loves our sandy soil, it loves our heat. It's great for the environment. It gives, natural feeding for the birds. It's just a lot of things to really love about it. It has medicinal properties. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's tasty to eat an elderberry. And in fact, you're actually not supposed to eat them raw. You're supposed to cook them first. I make elderberry syrup during cold season. Every year I cut this thing down to the ground. just to try to contain some of its growth because it does grow aggressively. And once you put it in, it's going to start shooting up from the roots in different places. So it's a little bit of an invasive aggressive thing, but I don't know if you can call it invasive aggressive when it's a native. Anyway, it just really doesn't ever want to die. And that can be a good thing and that can sometimes be a bad thing. But if you're into medicinals and you're into natives and you want something that is edible, an elderberry is a really, really great one to grow. Number 2 on the list is this beautiful guy right here. This is a Jaboticaba. I want you to come all the way down here and see that I've got him in one of these rolling planters. It is, I think, 30 gallons. I think we have one piece of fruit. Oh, it's not quite ready yet. It's got more fruit on it. This is an excellent tree. I like this one for a number of reasons, but probably my first reason is you can grow it in the ground, you can grow it in a container. It went through my winter here, which kind of got to like 17 degrees. In this covered area, it was probably closer to like mid-20s. And while it did lose its leaves, obviously it was not bothered by it. It did not care. Its nutrients are pretty decent. It doesn't have like weird soil requirements. It grows in the heat, it grows in the sun, it grows in the shade, it just grows. The fruit is so unique, you're probably never gonna see another tree like this. It's the Brazilian tree grape is another name for the Jaboticaba. Mine is a red, there's a scarlet, there's a lot of different varieties. I actually just gave this away to a winner where I teamed up with Green Dreams and we did a giveaway for a scarlet Jaboticaba for celebration of my new book. And I'm really excited to be able to, you know, kind of get people more interested in these trees because I think that there is just a lot to love about them. In terms of flavor, they're very much like a grape. Kind of. It reminds me kind of like a lychee and a grape mixed together. The outside skin is very tough, but it's also very sour. So it kind of gives like this sweet sour, like a sweet and sour candy kind of situation. But the inside is like the jelly kind of substance of a grape. It's really, really good. You can grow these from seed and they're true to seed, which is another really cool thing about them. Then the number 1 fruit tree to grow in your backyard garden. There is nothing wrong with this tree. Well, I guess there's one thing wrong with this tree. It is a mulberry. Oh my gosh, so good. Now I'm going to be doing a video that's going to go into great detail on these guys, how to grow them, all that things. But to kind of get you excited about them, let's just talk about all the wonderful things about them. Number 1, they fruit in the first year. Number 2, they can fruit multiple times a year. You can force them to fruit if they aren't fruiting multiple times. You can get a dwarf variety like this one is. This is a Thai dwarf. The one next to it is a semi-dwarf. It's a world's best. I planted them, I think it's like 2 feet apart. It's really close together. They grow beautifully and I prune them really, really aggressively. They stay short. The fruit is really good. It kind of reminds me of between a blackberry and a raspberry. It's got a bunch of tiny seeds, but you don't really taste them. They don't get stuck in your teeth or anything. You'll know when they're ripe because you can kind of shake the tree and they just fall right off. They're incredibly good. I made jam, jelly, pie filling. I make Kool-Aid with them. Like I make a powder, dehydrate them, turn it into Kool-Aid. I've made them into fruit roll-ups. I've just done so many things with mulberries and I get pounds and pounds and pounds of this stuff every single year and it has never slowed down ever. I absolutely love this tree. It doesn't really get pests. I've never seen it. The birds love it. I'm not gonna lie about that. Birds love it a little bit too much. So we do have to fight for it every now and then. I don't net the trees. We just share. There's plenty enough for them and me here. I've never seen it have a disease either. Honestly, I think it could go without feeding it, although I do feed it when I feed all my other trees and it seems to be happy with that. So for all those reasons, that is why mulberries comes in at number 1. It does have a bit of an invasive root system, so you definitely want to get dwarf varieties. You don't want to get those giant, like the Pakistani is like 30 or 50 feet tall. You don't want to go for those, but if you get the dwarf varieties, you can grow them in small spaces, you can grow them in containers, and you can keep them pruned really short. A lot of people have been concerned with like being close to the house. I just want to show you how close my house is to this one. And maybe I might regret that. I don't think so. We're at year like 3. And I just keep them really small. I have found their root systems outside, but they're very, very small. And I think it's because I keep them so small. So don't get the giant mulberries. Get very specific ones. And check out greendreamsfl.com. If you're here in Spring Hill, they're out there on 41. Great place to stop, and they have an amazing amount of inventory in-house. But they also ship some things, and one of the things they ship is this particular tree right here, so you definitely want to check them out. They're one of my favorite places, but there's other places you can get them from too. I can't stop snacking. I can't. Bella's down here snacking as well. You can hear her crinkling. She hangs out by the strawberries at the beginning of the year, and by the time we start harvesting mulberries, she's always over here stealing all the mulberries. They are so good. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you disagreed with something I had on my list, or I'm missing something from my list, because I know I'm missing mangoes, I can't grow them here, so I can't really talk about them. Head down to the comments and let me know. I'd love to hear what your ratings are. Happy gardening.